Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and I'm so excited to be kicking off our updates to enrollment guide blog posts and the Charter Moms chats that go with it. So Idea Public Schools is usually the first charter school to start taking applications for the upcoming school year. So on September 1st, Idea Public Schools started taking applications for the 2023-24 school year, which just feels weird to say. But so we've updated the enrollment guide blog post about Idea Public Schools in the San Antonio area, and we featured it on our website, schartermoms.com. And to talk about all things Idea Public Schools, we have Carlos Benavides, who's the Vice President of Operations for the San Antonio region. And Carlos, thank you so much for joining us. I've got lots of questions about Idea Public Schools because it's one of the school networks that people always ask questions about at School Discovery Day. Everybody's heard of Idea Public Schools.
Thank you, and happy to be here.
So, okay, so first of all, now, like I said, I think a lot of families have heard of IDEA, but I was wondering if you could kind of clarify like the mission and vision of IDEA Public Schools.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, to put it in a long story short terms, we believe that every scholar can go to and through college. This has been the mission that we've had since 2012. We started with 150 kids in a small school in Donna, Texas, and we're currently, the district is serving over 80,000 scholars. 80,000. I think this year we started over 82,000. So, we've grown significantly. And we're also a communication that a nonprofit community that thrives on like alumni and community members, as well as financial advocates, right, that we have to Donors Foundations and Friends of Idea. Currently, we have, again, the several regions. Some of those regions are, of course, Texas, Southern Louisiana, Florida, and this year we launched in Cincinnati, Ohio. We had a great launch out there. So those are the currently regions that we're serving. And then again, mission for Idea Public Schools has, and will always be getting every single scholar to and through college.
Yeah. Well, it's an amazing track record of, like every kid who's gone, has become, a graduating senior at IDEA has gotten accepted at college. And, and these are kids coming from, regions or parts of town where students aren't necessarily expected to get a college education.
Absolutely. We literally support them. We provide all the guidance necessary. There's really, as one of our core values is to say, right, no excuses. There's really no excuse for the scholar not to go to college. We really, the staff and the culture of Idea Public Schools, it's a culture where we have the same aligned vision, where we work very, very hard and collaboratively to work to get the scholars there.
Yeah. Well, so you mentioned that Idea Public Schools is active in so many different regions in the country, right? So it started in the Rio Grande Valley, and I remember when I found out in 2012 that Idea Carver was going to become become part of the Idea Network's first Idea campus outside the Rio Grande Valley. Now there's so many regions, but so you're part of the regional leadership for the San Antonio area. So I was wondering if you could kind of talk about your role, like your colleague Angie Arsmendi, and kind of what does the sort of the landscape of Idea campuses in San Antonio look like?
Yeah, definitely. So as the VP of Operations, I work with the assistant principal of operations on the campus and the regional directors of operations. And our main goal is focusing on the non-instructional buckets of the school. Some of those are, of course, recruitment and enrollment, attendance, staff retention. But we're currently in the region, we have 15 sites / 30 schools. And we did not have a launch in school this year. But this year we were successfully able to register over 5,300 new scholars. That's just in one season. And we're so proud of the team, right? We see the demand that continues to be there. And when we reach out to the community is happy to be on board. So definitely this year we also have continuous ongoing enrollment. So it's something that as families express interest, of course, through the lottery system, we're continuing to enroll if there's capacity at that specific site.
Yeah. Well, and that's so much of what SC Tour Moms does, right? It's like we're wanting, families to know, like, that, maybe their neighborhood school is a good fit, but maybe their neighborhood school is not a good fit. And they've got, choices all across the region that they can choose from. And one of the things that's extraordinary about IDEA is that wherever you live in the San Antonio area, you're not that far from an IDEA campus, and that there's really no other charter network that can say that in San Antonio.
Our goal is to be within 15 minutes of distance, commute distance to all of the San Antonio residents. Again, from east to west to south to northwest to northeast, we have a school nearby. And I would like to invite, like you mentioned, any family that expresses interest, come see it. Come see your tour. Come get a tour, right? Come get it and get to know us. We'll be happy to have a host you there at the campus.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we have my friend Ricky, who's watching on YouTube. He says, "Hello, Idea Schools."
Hey, Ricky.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, because it's I try to put myself back in the mindset where I was, right? So the SD Toronto's blog started in 2012, and like I hadn't really heard of Idea Schools before that, and then it was just like it was so exciting to me, and then trying to understand things like, oh, like it doesn't matter what district you live in, it doesn't matter what neighborhood you live in, as long as you can get your to the campus, you're in. And and I had hesitation of like, oh, my child has special needs, like is this going to work? And then it's like, oh, they offer special education, they have athletics, they have a free lunch program, they have PE, there's like all kinds of stuff going on at IDEA that people might not realize that charter schools offer too.
Yes, absolutely. And we've had many instances where families have a conception or perception that we're a private school or that we cherry pick kids here and there. We do abide by our TA guidelines, like any other open enrollment school. Of course, capacity is an issue, but other than that, we welcome every single scholar, and regardless of the background or challenges that the student might have, we do the same and we continue with our same mission and vision.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the things that I think is on a lot of folks' minds this school year is about school safety. And I know that Idea Public Schools has done a lot of training and preparation over the summer to make sure that staff are ready to keep students safe on campus, and that folks are ready to kind of answer parents' questions. Because it was such a tragedy what happened in Uvalde in May. And I think all parents in the region and beyond felt nervous about bringing our kids back on campus and dropping them off, wanting to know that they're going to be safe and we can pick them up safely at the end of the day. So, what kind of preparation did Idea Public Schools do over the summer? And, what are some of the things you can say to, or kind of reassure families? What kind of questions are you hearing from families about safety?
Yes, the same questions, a general concern. And we have from one extreme to the other extreme. One extreme is thank you all for everything you're doing. And then the other extreme is I want metal detectors in the store, right? So it varies overall, which is the nature of a parent to be concerned when it comes to their safety of their scholars. But it continues to be a priority. So one of the things that we started last year, it's aligning our crisis response protocols to the Texas Standard Protocol System, right? So we were able to align that, and not only align it, but train principals, starting with principals, leaders of the campus, starting with the assistant principal of operations, and starting with the teachers as well. Because at the end of the day, the safety, direct safety of the scholar is with them most of the time, right? So we're aligning now the standard response protocol for Texas. And not only that, but we've assigned what we call campus crisis team and rapid response teams to each school. So what rapid response teams is who responds in the event of an emergency right there and then. And a campus crisis team is more like who's going to manage a major crisis on school, and we continue to provide training for those teams as well across the region. And of course, there's also an investment when it comes to physical hardware for the schools, right? Security cameras, door access systems, and all of that, of course, priorities to make sure that when we invest, it's something that's going to be sustainable and long term. So we're in the process of finalizing those purchases so that we can start with our schools. And bottom line is, teachers ask me, how do we keep our kids safe? How do we lock your doors, right? Lock your doors, lock all main doors in the front, continue asking the purpose of visits for the front office. Do you have an appointment in advance? Yes or no? So those are some of the main things that we're doing. We continue to do. And unfortunately, the incident at Uvalde was a wake up call, right? To many of us. So now we're just making sure that we do it with fidelity and consistency, to really, really do our best to prevent some of those things happening here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that I mean, I can tell y'all putting a lot of thought into this. That's a very careful answer. I know that I mean the idea of campuses in town are very new construction, and I know every time I've visited campus, I have to present my ID. I get a sticker. I sign in. I mean, so and the doors are locked. And I think that's one of parents' concerns. Like sometimes there are some older buildings that are still being used at schools, and those buildings need significant upgrades. But the idea of public schools campuses were already designed with, they all have vestibules around the front desk, and they already had good access control. So if y'all are investing more in hardware, it's already starting from a baseline of up to date construction and just the procedures that
Absolutely.
I've observed. Yeah,
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 and not only that, but we also started, in addition to all of that, the safety audits, right? We're required by TEA. We have our TEA and idea-based audits, right, which we perform, and this gives us a clear picture or evaluation of the safety of the scholars in the school. So we have those ongoing audits to continue to monitor not just once, but on an ongoing basis at every school.
yeah, yeah. Well, I hope that reassures families that it's important to have your kids in school and learning. I mean, we support online education as well, but I think a lot of families discovered that during the pandemic that online education wasn't as good, it wasn't as productive for their kids, and so
Absolutely, the
um,
best learning
yeah,
happens in the classroom.
yeah, yeah. I know. The idea was very nimble about, right? It's already a very high tech, blended learning curriculum, but having students on campus, like well, actually, this is a good segue. Like, can you talk more about like school culture at IDEA? I mean, I know like there's always like mottos and stuff on the like stickers, and there's always like data like charts on the walls, like like it's a very high energy environment.
Yes, aside from our long-standing achieving results core value, something that we added this year, recently to India Public School, is having a culture of joy, and celebrating or encouraging joy in every single classroom, um, to either tied to academic performance and or other things, right? So, some of the feedback that we receive is that sometimes we're too strict, too rigorous, um, and some of the things that we did, right, through the culture of joy, the core value, we're able to see that in having a tremendous positive effect on our kiddos. I mean, I go to schools and I hear chants and I hear celebrations. I went in there to a classroom the other day to celebrate attendance because they had 100% attendance, and all the kiddos, yeah! I feel like in a way it drains me because it's a lot of kiddos and I'm not used to it. With a lot of little kids lately. But other than that, that's some of the biggest change that we've seen, and it's so nice to see that joy, especially after the pandemic. Kids were at home, kids were not together, and just being able to finally be among other students in the same classroom, learning, celebrating. It's something that really, really fulfills me currently here at the Public Schools.
Yeah. Well, speaking of celebrations, college signing day, like that's a
Oh,
big tradition, right? So and y'all got to have like college signing day in person again in 2022, right?
yes, we were able to host it here in the convention center in San Antonio. And we currently had 1,000, 1180 or almost 1,200 college acceptances. So we were able to get our full scale campuses and their students attend the convention center to celebrate this big announcements for them. And it was just so rewarding, right? It finally, it's what you see the results of all the hard work that we've done, right? And it is when that day when we realize that we're making a change, we're making an impact, and it continues to fuel our energy to be able to continue to do so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I got to go to college signing day in 2019, 19. So I guess that was the last one that was before the pandemic. And I think that one was on campus at Trinity, and David Robinson was there. And I know Carver had seniors. I think South Flores had seniors that year. I know there's more campuses now that have, right, like Walden. Like there's more campuses that are all go all the way up to 12th grade. But it was just amazing. And like I think the part that got me the most was seeing how the parents reacted to seeing their students on stage, and as they pulled open those banners that
Oh
said
my
what
God,
color.
we had tears of
Oh,
joy. We had people celebrating. We had it was a very emotional roller coaster, but in a good way. And 60% of those 1,200, almost 1,200, graduated to tier one and two universities. So, super, super excited and super um, intense day.
yeah, no, it's really a beautiful thing, and I'm glad that I'm so glad that I know I'm sure it's a lot of energy to put that event together, but I mean it's so gratifying for the students and their families, and it really shows the community like what idea is doing to make a difference for students. And I'm envisioning like hopefully some of these kids, I mean they could go anywhere in the world with those degrees, but hopefully some of them will come back to San Antonio and take professional jobs and like be innovators, start businesses, and really elevate what San Antonio is capable of. Yeah.
Yes, or teach with us as well. Yeah, so going back to our vision, like, that the work doesn't stop there, right? Like, it's 1180 sentences, matriculations. Collectively, the San Antonio region um, had over $30 million in scholarship funding for those scholars. So that's huge. So that's the support that we also provide as well to the scholars to be able to have that strong resource for them to financially sustain to and through college.
Right. Right. Yeah, because like, many of them are the first member of their family to go to college, and
Yep.
so
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Then like it's that extra support of like it's like yes, you do belong in college, and look, you've got this scholarship to help pay for it.
Yes, yes. We see a lot of first generation scholars. We where we throughout the year we have the responsibility of not only educating the scholar, right, but hey, it's a teamwork. Parents, join us. This is what we need to do, and we need your support. So definitely is something that parent buy-in is something that really is a key for success to getting the kids to and through college. We continue to see it year over year. Right now, we're already having meetings with parents. Every single senior meeting, right? We're having a college matriculation, college vision. What is setting them up for success so that is nothing at the last minute.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you've given a few examples already, but like so for example, like you mentioned that there was a class like classrooms that had 100% attendance, and you came and you celebrated with them. Like, are there other stories you can think of that kind of demonstrate idea culture to folks? I know there's kind of a perception of like, oh, maybe it's this really strict place, but but there's a lot of joy. There's a lot of celebration. There's a lot of things to be happy about.
Yes, definitely. I can tie it to 2 weeks ago or so. I was at Idea Converse, um, and um, when getting there, we were planning for a recruitment day. Right, we're going to go out to the community, and one of the teachers says, "Mr. Benavides," and I'm like, "Who's calling?" And it turned out to be Cindy, a former ninth grader of mine who's now teaching at Idea Converse. And that's when you realize, oh my God, I'm getting old. This is already too much. But it's that strong culture that our team has, right? To be able to accomplish our goals for the kiddos, not just for us. That encourage this former student to come back and teach, right? So that is a true example of what let us know that we are doing something right and we need to continue doing it. For an alumni from Idea to go to college, graduate, come back, and continue to do the impact that we had in her is the biggest reward, one of the biggest rewards that I've experienced. So definitely something that I will never forget. But yeah, I think that, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's amazing. And that she's taking Yeah, Idea had faith in her, helped her get to college and complete her degree and, start a profession of teaching. And then, she already understood the value that Idea provides for families. So she came back and wanted to be part of that at Idea
Absolutely.
Converse. That's awesome. Yeah. Um, well, I guess, like, what are some of the top reasons why a family should choose Idea Public Schools for their children?
Well, definitely, we are working collaboratively to providing that support to get them to college. We have a unique curriculum that involves program, culture, celebrations, right? And we continue to close those gaps. Not only that, but for the past 15 years, again, like you mentioned, 100% of students have been accepted, right, to college. I don't think any other entity or nonprofit can say that. But we have 15 years of 100% going to college. Also, our ACT scores over the past 7 years have increased from an average of 17 to 21.5 average ACT score. So that's huge increase over the last 7 years. And then more than 3,500 of ID Academy and college prep students read more than 1 million words on a million-year program. Um, the pass and enable them to pass the comprehension test during the academic year. So many reasons. I can go on and go on. One of the things that I really want to highlight is um, the U.S. News World Report and the Washington Post was ranked Idea Carver College Prep as a top 4 in the city of San Antonio. So that's like huge. If you think of all the schools in San Antonio, Idea Carver is a top 4. So something definitely that's because of again the academic success that we've seen there and the growth of the years. And then again, we're providing like a quality education, right? We are providing a quality education, something that we that helps scholars just be successful in academics, but also in life. So um, many more reasons. I invite everybody to join us at any school for an open house, for a tour. Um, Give us a call, right? And we're happy to have them see firsthand experience what happens in our schools.
Yeah, actually, that's perfect segue because my next question is like, how do families get connected? So I guess first I'm going to plug SA Turnermom's resources. So because we've updated the enrollment guide blog post at saturnermoms.com. So it's featured right now, but you can always access it through the school's guide page. You click through to the enrollment guide or just search Idea Public Schools. And I also mentioned that we have a discussion group on Facebook. Actually, we cracked 10,000 members today. So that's a big milestone for us. And but families can join. Just search for San Antonio Charter Moms discussion group on Facebook. I've got the link up on the screen, but there's Idea Public Schools families in the group, and they can answer questions about their experiences. So those are some resources that we offer. But families can contact Idea campuses and get information that way, and go to the website. So Carlos, what are some good ways for families to
Yeah.
research Idea
So
Public Schools?
any school, happy to we take your call, happy to schedule a tour with you, and have a one-on-one guidance session if needed. The Our website at thepublicschools.org, I think we see it right now on our screen. That has a ton of information on our academics, our programs, our extracurriculars, safety information and updates, where we can access as well. And then there's also an option for families to submit an application for the upcoming school year. We have started our application launch starting September the 1st. So about 2 weeks, we already started taking applications for next year. One of the schools, Hidden Meadow, we have a space availability for 120 scholars. We already have 80 applicants for in just the 13 days. So looking forward to it. When you apply using this website, it will tell you the closest school based on your address, and you're able to submit an application for more than one school as well.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. And then actually, I was just going to check on the website. So the open enrollment period runs. Is it through March? Sorry, checking my notes
Through
here.
February. So
See. Oh, February, right?
February 17th is when we have our lottery day, which is pretty much all the applicants that submitted an interest to the school, they run a lottery and we get the ultimate selection for the upcoming school year. After that, of course, if there's space, it's on a first come first serve basis, and and yeah, that's how pretty much it. So pretty much February, between now and February, we'll be collecting the applications and running the lottery on February 17th, and we should be good to go for the upcoming school year. So this is the time to start thinking about next year's scholars education. Some people think it's too early, you just finished. Yes, but we also want to make sure that we have the time to successfully onboard you and make sure that you are a member of our team and family.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, the best for families, like the way to have the best choices is to apply during open enrollment because it increases chances of getting an offer, and families can apply to more than one school, but and then that gives them time to like, you can put in the application and then you can keep researching. Then you can, go to an information night, go to a community event, call up and ask for a school tour. There's more time to do research, but it's really good to get those applications in because it's done, and they're really simple. Like it's not like applying for college, right? It's just like a one-page form. It's really easy.
Basic demographic information. The earlier that you apply, the more opportunity that you have to get to know us more, and the more opportunity that we get to know any family more as well. And that's key to success for the success of the scholar in the long term. So, yeah, that's what we look like for this coming school year.
Yeah. Okay. So from now in September through February 17th, when the lottery happens, that's open enrollment for the upcoming 2023-24 school year. But as you mentioned, there are some campuses that have open seats in the current school year. So families don't necessarily have to wait. If they feel like they want to make a change, they can contact some of their nearby campuses and ask, do they have openings in the grade level that their student is in?
Absolutely. We are an ongoing enrollment. We are a city of movers. We're a military city. So families, unfortunately, even although we have a huge demand of new registrations, over 5,000 this past beginning of the year season, we still have some space in some grades and some schools. So definitely Google up the closest idea school to you, give them a call, and express that interest, and we will do our very best to get you in there. If the preference is for you to start as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, and then the kids, they look so cute in their uniforms, right? The polo shirts and
Yes, and we actually added
I love those.
some a little bit flexibility to the uniforms. Last year we added like navy pants versus all khaki. So we've made a couple of adjustments here and there. Um, but if you're looking for a school who's going to be committed to your child's education, if you're looking for a school who's going to make sure that works together as a team to be able to get your kid to and through college and success um, academically, then Idea Public Schools is the choice. Definitely invite every single one of you or every single one of our families to give us the opportunity. Give us the opportunity to learn about us, to ask questions, for us to answer questions, and not only that, for in hopes to have your scholar attend at Idea Public Schools.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put the website linked up on the screen one more time. So it's ideapublicschools.org. That's links to the application to find out information about each campus. And again, we've got it on shrmoms.com in the enrollment guide blog post. So Carlos, thank you for helping us kick off enrollment season and sharing our updated enrollment guides. And idea always comes first because you guys are, I guess, like the most organized.
We try to. We try to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than that, thank you so much for having us here and looking forward to being at the school discovery days where parents also have the opportunity to get to know us and compare the other options. But looking forward to another school year, and thank you again for having us.
Thank you, Carlos. Take care.
Bye bye.